Well, good afternoon, guys. This afternoon, we've had a unit down for roughly since school started. I want to say 2 weeks. We found some issues on this one. Unit was overheating, not really overheating, but it was going to 230, 220 degrees, which is a little higher than what we want. Secondly, is the reservoir tank is just nasty. It's ugly, nasty, dirty. So we're going to go ahead and replace that. And thirdly, unit has to crank over for a good 8-10 seconds before it actually turns on. Scanned it. ICP valve was having trouble building up pressure. Well, the ICP is not the issue. The IPR valve is actually the issue on this one. I'm going to go ahead and replace the IPR reservoir tank, and I'm going to go ahead and add a thermostat on this one. We did order a radiator, but the radiator's not in. I'm going to see if that thermostat helps any, so they can go and start using it, and we'll just come back and do that radiator when the radiator is in. Guys, let me go ahead and get started. Well, guys, on this one here, we have to go under the bus, and on the left side of the radiator, there's a little petcock valve. We got to open for water, for some of that coolant to drain off. We're going to go ahead and drain like 4 gallons of that coolant, so we're going to go ahead and remove that reservoir and replace it, and the thermostat and replace it. So it's already draining, so let me go ahead and get started. And like I said, guys, I mean, right now we already drained out roughly 3.5-4 gallons, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. That should be more than enough. And after we're done with the work, we're just going to go ahead and use the same antifreeze, and we can go ahead and put it back in the system. So we're going to go ahead and turn that little spigot off and continue with the work. For this reservoir tank is basically 2 half-millimeter nut, 2 half nuts up here. There's 3 bolts in the front, either half or 13, either or. And then there's 2 down here. And then of course that hose, these 2 return hoses, and then there's one in the back of this that goes to the front of the radiator and connects to the front of the radiator. So get all those off, and that little tank should pop right out. So you go ahead and add the new one. This here is the new one. Let me go ahead and unbox it real quick. It's a Dorman 603-5104. That's a part number for this one. I can get this at O'Reilly's AutoZone. New ones come in with a radiator cap and that little bypass hose. You can buy these at O'Reilly's or AutoZone. They don't have to be dealer. A little bit cheaper at O'Reilly's or AutoZone, so that's where we get them. Let me go ahead and install this one real quick. Well, guys, that was it for the reservoir. I'm not going to fill it yet because I still got to do the thermostat, but let's go ahead and get that IPR valve real quick. Guys, I'm going to try and get this IPR, but it's in a very, very tight little spot, very secluded, very hidden. I just wanted to show you guys where it was. I mean, it's right here, right next to that little mechanical fuel pump. It's this one right here. So it's going to be real hard for me to show you me removing it and replacing it from the location where it's at, but I just want to give you an idea. Let me back up the phone so you guys can see where it's at. Alright, right there, guys, under that little mechanical fuel pump. So let me go ahead and get to removing that one. Well, guys, here we use, it's a socket you can buy at your local parts store. It's an IPR socket. It's got a little 1/8 little notch cut out on it. That's for the connector that actually go through it. So this one I'm going to be using just a little 3/8 ratchet a little 3-inch extension, and that little special socket for IPR. So let me get this one off. Well guys, there's the old IPR. Screen seems to be fine, but this has been there for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. Like I said, ICP was having a hard time building up the pressure. Well, IPR is the one that actually lets the oil go through and go into that oil rail, which the ICP is actually bolted onto. So if there's no pressure on the oil rail, then this is the part that I think is causing the issue, not the ICP. So I'm going to replace this and scan it, and if for whatever reason it still registers, then yeah, I am going to have to replace that the ICP. But I know this is the issue, the IPR valve. So let me go ahead and get the new one and install it. Well guys, here's the new IPR valve. New O-rings on there, new seals. This one looks very, very clean. So let me go ahead and get this one back on. I'm not going to record this, guys. I mean, it's pretty simple. So I'm just going to slap it right on there. Well guys, it's on hand tight. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it up with a ratchet and plug it back in. Alright, we'll come back and get that thermostat real quick. Well guys, now we're going to go ahead and replace this thermostat. It's a 190-degree thermostat, so basically at 190 this thing should open up, allow coolant to go from the radiator into the engine to cool it down. As soon as it cools down, this will close up and start warming up that water again, and it'll just repeat the cycle. So in this case, we're not going to remove this EGR tube. This tube down here, this one right here, thermostat is right down there. We have to undo two bolts, two nuts holding a bracket that hold this metal tube onto the engine. You have to take those two off, two 10mm bolts holding it down onto the block, so it can kind of lift and slide out of the way, so we can go ahead and get to that thermostat and replace it. So let me go ahead and get to this real quick. Well guys, I know this is not the greatest of views, but this is one of the nuts that I'm going to remove. The other one is over here. So let me get those out of the way. Now that those two nuts are out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get these 10mm bolt. There's one right there. The other one is in front. This one you can get with a socket. This one in front you got to get with a wrench. So let me go ahead and get those off, and then we'll continue. Well guys, we got the thermostat back in place. Now all you got to do is remove this little plug here. This is the one to actually bleed all the air out of the engine while you're at the water, or the coolant. Once coolant flies out of this little spigot here, that means it's full. Go ahead and put this back on, cover up the system, and crank it over, and hope for the best. So let me go ahead and get all that done. Well guys, all that's left on this one is crank it over and well, let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and start it up and see, just let it run. Hopefully the temperature doesn't go up, and I'm going to let it run for a good 15-20 minutes, and then I'm going to take it for a little spin. Drive it for a good 15 miles, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, appreciate you guys watching, and like and subscribe.